Hello, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Voices of Empowerment with Dr. B. I am here to read along with you through our amazing book that we have been reading you all. This book has been mind blowing already, and we've only gotten to chapter 3. Tonight is chapter 4, which is entitled Heart, but the book is The Seat of the Soul, written by Gary Zukav. This book is amazing, amazing, amazing. If you have not acquired your free copy, yes, that's right, free copy. I'll show you how to do that at the very end of the segment. So stick around and I'll let you know how you can get your copy, which everyone, again, yes, we are a nonprofit organization. Yes, we do accept donations. They are welcome, but they are not required for you to get this reading material. Get the book, okay? I'll tell you how to do that at the end of the segment. But right now, in the meantime and in between time, you already know how we get down. I do not like to keep you all on Tuesday evening because it is yet already late. And if you are on the East Coast like I am, or in the central time, or even overseas in other countries, then I know it is extremely late, okay? Or getting late for you all, okay? So I don't want to keep you too long. We are airing live on multiple platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, all of the above. And you are more than welcome to follow those segments and check us out on those platforms. You can stay where you at. It's up to you. But either way, wherever you are, we'd love to hear from you. So while I'm reading through any segment and portion of this particular chapter reading, feel free to utilize the chat. That is what is there for. You use the chat. Give your words, share your thoughts, share your insights, and that way we can all kind of feel and evolve and resonate with your words as well. I will give voice to your words, and everyone on all platforms will know what you have to contribute to our conversation or even our going through this process. Okay. Without further ado, today's chapter is chapter 4, and that is entitled Heart. Okay. Chapter 4 is entitled Heart. I will go ahead and start reading now. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. We had to reload. Okay, no worries, no worries, no worries. Because the drive, I'm reading from drive and it had to update. So no worries. Good thing we're only in chapter 4, so I can get down to the section we're in pretty quickly. There we go. Look at that. Okay. All righty. Now I gotta enhance it for my eyes. Okay. All right, here we go. Chapter 4, entitled Heart. The logics that have served our five-century exploration of physical reality cannot comprehend evolution without time or the influence of the present upon the past. They cannot meaningfully represent the existence of the soul or a dynamic of energy balancing that generates and links many lifetimes. They reflect no experiential points of reference beyond those of the five-sensory personality. Therefore, the time has come for a higher order of logic and understanding. The logics and understandings of the five sensory personality originate in the mind. They are products of the intellect. The higher order of logic and understanding that is capable of meaningfully reflecting the soul comes from the heart. The creation of this higher order of logic and understanding, therefore, requires close attention to feelings. The central position of the heart in the higher order of logic and understanding of the multisensory human, and the sensitivity to emotional currents that is characteristic of multisensory humans, appear as extraneous to the five sensory personality because they do not serve the accumulation of external power. As we have come to seek and wield external power consciously, we have come to view feelings as unnecessary appendages, like tonsils, useless, but capable of creating pain and dysfunction. Thus, the pursuit of external power has led to a repression of emotion. Yes, it has. This is true of us as individuals and as a species. The irrelevancy that we attribute to feelings pervades our thinking and our values. We admire the hard nosed businessman who fires employees for the sake of external power. We reward the military officer who sends himself or others to pain and death for the sake of external power. We honor the statesman who is not swayed by compassion. When we close the door to our feelings, we close the door to the vital currents that energize and activate our thoughts and actions. Yes, We do. We cannot begin the process of understanding the effects of our emotions upon us, our environment, and other people, or the effects of the emotions and other people upon themselves, their environment, and us. Without an awareness of our emotions, we cannot associate the effects of anger, sadness, grief, and joy within ourselves or others with their causes. We cannot distinguish between that part of us which is personality and that part of us which is soul. Without an awareness of our feelings, we cannot experience compassion. How can we share the sufferings and joys of others if we cannot experience our own? That is so true. If we are not intimate with our emotions, we cannot perceive the dynamics that lie behind emotions, the way that these dynamics work, and the ends that they serve. Emotions are currents of energy that pass through us. Through us. That is key right there. Emotions are currents of energy that pass through us. That is very, very vital to see and to say and to hear right there, because oftentimes emotions come and we sit in them. We let them unpack their bags there, and we make them permanent residents in our homes, which is our being. Emotions are currents of energy that pass through us. Okay. Awareness of these currents is the five step. It is the five step in learning how our experiences come into being and why. Meaning they come to inform. I say this all the time. Emotions and feelings, they come to inform us of something that's lying beneath or something that's going on internally, or even whether it's with us or with someone else. Emotions reflect intentions. Therefore, awareness of emotions leads to awareness of intentions. Yes, every discrepancy between a conscious intention and the emotions that accompany it points directly to a splintered aspect of these. If that requires healing, if, for example, your intention to marry causes pain instead of joy, following the pain will lead you to unconscious intentions. If your intention to advance in work causes sorrow instead of satisfaction, following the sorrow will lead you to unconscious intentions. Without an awareness of your emotions, you are not aware, you are not able to experience reverence. Come on. That's the previous chapter, reverence. Reverence is not an emotion, it is a way of being. But the path to reverence is through your heart, and only an awareness of your feelings can open your heart. That's it. Ooh. Oh, bridge the gap. Please make it plain for the people. The higher order of logic and understanding of the multisensory personality reveals connections where no connections are apparent to the five sensory personality, and meaning where no meaning is apparent to the five sensory personality. A five sensory personality is not able to process fully the data of its senses. Because it's only limited to the, oh, yes. Its perception of reality is segmented. It's so incomplete. Its experience of the universe is partitioned. Listen, I'm going to read that again. A five sensory personality, meaning someone who bases their knowledge and information off of their five senses. A five sensory personality is not able to process fully the data of its senses. Its perception of reality is segmented. Its experience of the universe is partitioned. Come on, man. Limited, incomplete. Jeez Louise. The five sensory personality can learn that internal dynamics affect perceptions and formulate this as folklore or cliches such as smile and the world smiles with you. It can discover regularities within physical reality and formulate them as laws, such as a body in uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until it is acted upon by a force. Yet, the five sensory personality is not able to experience the relationships between these domains, and therefore is not able to learn about one form from the other. It is not able to experience the same richness through each. Science, for example, reflects the divine impulse to become conscious of relationships that connect apparently separate aspects of experience. It is the pinnacle achievement of the five sensory personality. Yet, when the fruits of science are grasped only with the logic and understanding of the five sensory human, internal dynamics, feelings, and intentions appear to be unrelated to the world of matter. It's so true. I experienced that in the world of medicine and wellness. It's such a divide when there is no one without the other. You cannot concept the one without the having the logic and understanding of the other. Spirituality and science, they go together. Okay. When the discoveries of science are comprehended with the logic and understanding of the multisensory human, which is the human that transcends the five senses, intimate relationships appear between internal dynamics and regularities that govern physical phenomena. Yes. To the multisensory human, for example, a body in uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until it is acted upon by a force, reflects not only a dynamic at work within the realm of time and space and matter, but also a deeper dynamic that works within non physical reality as well. It's true. How is this? One of my friends in infantry officers candidate school was a tall, affable, and pleasant looking young man from Kentucky named Hank. Hank and I liked each other early on. Several times he lent me his physical strength when my load became too heavy, and I helped him through intellectual obstacles such as calculating artillery trajectories. We shared adventures and our friendship grew. Upon graduation, we were assigned to different organizations. I lost track of Hank until I ran into him in Saigon. He had been wounded, and due to the befriending of an army general, he had been assigned to a unit that I came frequently to visit. While serving in Saigon, he met a popular female radio announcer, and they became engaged. It seemed a perfect match, a tall, handsome captain and a beautiful and admired public figure. I again lost track of Hank until I had left the army. He called me to say that his wife was coming to make an appearance at a resort near me, and he asked me to meet him there. When I met Hank, now a civilian also, he looked troubled, and his easygoing manner was dampened. He had changed his name to Hal, he told me, and apologized that his wife was unable to join us. We spoke for a while, and when I asked him what he was doing with himself, he told me, looking for my place in the sun. The next news that I heard of Hank slash Hal was that he had killed himself. When I was later able to meet his widow, she told me a painful story of marital difficulties, of Hank's despondency, and of his suicide. In the years immediately following the Vietnam War, the rate of suicides among Vietnam veterans was significantly higher than the rate of suicides among non veterans. Therefore, it is likely that Hank also was affected adversely by his experiences in Vietnam. Yet there was also a more common dynamic at work in my friend. Hank was not the kind of person to ask himself deeper questions about his life. He did not inquire into the deeper meaning of his existence upon the earth, because that would have caused him to change his life. And he did not want to do that. He lived his life without much reflection, and one day he awoke to overwhelming emptiness and powerlessness. How does my friend's life relate to the first law of motion? A body in a uniform motion will remain in uniform motion until it is acted upon by force. What does uniform motion mean in terms of a human life? And what is the force that alters that motion? The outward events of Hank's life were not uniform. He grew up on a farm in Kentucky, became a military officer, traveled thousands of miles from his home, married a celebrity, and brought his own life to an end. It was the unconscious quality of the flow of Hank's life that was uniform in his motion. Neither the experiences of his childhood, nor his military service, nor his marriage caused Hank to consider seriously the deeper meaning of his existence. The pains and the joys that flowed through him did not affect his awareness of who he was or what it might become. Hank did not allow himself to follow the experiences of his life to their roots. On the contrary, he feared such a pursuit. As a result, his life flowed uniformly, unaware, uniformly unconscious, from its incarnation to its release. He experienced the situations that were necessary to the balancing of the energy of his soul. He responded to them in accordance with the conditioning that he had acquired through the karma of his soul and the environment in which he was born. And he created more karma unconsciously with each response. The compassion that Hank brought into the world nurtured many people around him, including me, but he did not allow it to become his center of gravity. Hank made no effort to move toward his soul. He spent his life attempting to fulfill the wants of his personality, and he became too attached to those wants to attempt to change them. Thus, Hank's life was a body in uniform motion that never encountered a force. What is the force that Hank's life did not encounter? Gregory was a white, middle class, and college educated man from the Northeast. His childhood was emotionally difficult, and he grew up angry, manipulative, and bitter. He was incapable of forming relationships, and his violent temper and argumentative nature kept people at a distance. This further increased Gregory's disdain for life and for other people, but he did not stop to ask what role he played in his experiences. When at last his temper and his disagreeable disposition caused the woman that he was living with to leave, Gregory fell into a deep anguish not only because of his loss, but also because he recognized in his latest event the repetition of a long lasting pattern in which he found himself, in each instance, suffering from rejection. He determined to confront both his pain and his pattern. He made arrangements to live in solitude while he searched within himself for the deepest causes of his painful life. When he emerged weeks later, both his perceptions and his values had changed. He began to soften, and slowly his old mannerisms dropped away. Over the following years, he developed a more sensitive way of being with people. His cynicism gave way to an emerging joy. His anger melted, and other people became central to his life. He is a productive person now, and he draws his strength from the contributions that he makes to his fellows. These changes did not come easily to Gregory. His transition from an angry, manipulative, disdain person to a more caring and considerate person was a journey through pain that required much courage. Yet, by committing himself to the journey, he changed his life. From the point of view of Gregory's consciousness, the uniform flow of Gregory's life was altered significantly by his determination to confront his pain, and was altered further by his determination to cultivate his new perceptions. The force that altered the uniform motion of Gregory's life was his decision to enter into his life consciously. Without this decision, Gregory's life would have continued, as did Hank's, on the unconscious course that his karma and his responses to the situations that it generated would have created for him. It is appropriate to interpret the first law of motion, which depicts the idealized movement of a physical object, in this way. Is it appropriate to interpret the first law of motion, which depicts the idealized movement of a physical object, in this way? Is the first law of motion, when it is interpreted in this way, merely a metaphor that conveniently serves to describe a non-physical dynamic? It is more than that. It is the reflection in a physical reality, in the world of physical objects and phenomena, of a larger non-physical dynamic at work in non-physical domains. This is the physics of the soul. When science and its discoveries are understood with the higher order of logic and understanding of the multisensory human, they reveal the same richness that life itself displays everywhere and endlessly. Yes, that's what Nikola Tesla, Einstein, even George Washington Carver, and all of them, that's what they were able to do. They didn't just conduct science experiments. No, no, no. They transcended the five senses. They went beyond that. They transcended and became multisensory individuals and humans. And from that multisensory view and understanding, they conducted science and made some amazing, astounding discoveries that we still use today. Hello? The perception of the multisensory personality is not segmented. The multisensory human, for example, sees that the paradigms which form the history of science also reveal a history of the way that our species has seen itself in relation to the universe. Uh, Ptolemaic astronomy, okay, reflects a species that sees itself as the center of the universe. Copernican astronomy reflects a more sophisticated and interdependent perspective of a species that recognizes itself as part of the motion of the universe. Newtonian physics reflects a species that is confident in its ability to grasp the dynamics of the physical world through the intellect. Relatively reflects a species that understands the limiting relationship between the absolute and personalized perceptions of it. And quantum physics reflects a species that is becoming aware of the relationship of its consciousness to the physical world. In other words, from the point of view of the multisensory human, the discoveries of science illuminate both inner and outer experiences, physical and non physical dynamics. A foundational discovery of optics, for example, is that white and black are not colors, but blue, green, and red, like blue, green, and red. White is a combination of all the colors of the visible spectrum of light, and black is the absence of that spect with purity, insight, and divine inspiration. As we shall see, this type of light is not merely poetical, it is real. The soul can find it difficult to walk the way of light through the course of an incarnation. It can find that learning to live in light is a difficult sojourn. Through the choices that it makes while it is incarnate upon the earth, the choice of anger instead of forgiveness, for example, or condemnation instead of understanding, a soul accumulates negative karma. Accumulates negative karma. As it leaves its body, it remains enveloped with the quality of light that it acquired through the choices that it made while it was upon the earth. Yikes. When that soul has to create another personality, it will have to create a personality that is drawn from this well. Therefore, it would create a personality of more limitations. Oh, my goodness. A personality with limitations of consciousness will find what we call evil more attractive than will one with a more expanded awareness. The temptation to walk that way will be strong for such a personality. All souls are tempted, but an individual with limitations of consciousness will find it more attractive to walk into the magnetic field of fear because it would not recognize fear for what it is. It's true. It would accept it as something else, as something that is normal to life. How we understand evil, therefore, is very significant. Evil needs to be understood for what it is, the dynamic of the absence of light. Yeah, that's good. It is not something that one should prepare to battle, to run from, or to outlaw. Understanding evil as the absence of light automatically requires that we reach for things called light. Mm. Conscious light is equal to divinity, to divine intelligence. Where there is an absence of divine intelligence, that darkness itself maneuvers. It is simply that there is no that it is simply that there is darkness, and we stumble in the darkness. The existence in darkness is not permanent. Every soul will eventually be fully enlightened. A soul with no light will always come to no light because there is so much assistance provided to each soul at all times. It's true. There is much light, as we shall see, that is continually surrounding such a soul, even though it may not be able to directly penetrate it. And there is much assistance for souls that insist upon living in darkness. It's true. Like we can choose to come out of that at all times, at any point, at any time, any moment, any second, any instance. It's always available for us. It's so true. But like it says here, if the person wants to, you know what I'm saying? Wow. The person may not be able to directly, it may not be able to directly penetrate that person. Wow. But the assistance is always there. The encourage. Oh, that's good. Okay, I just heard. It's just like the passage in scripture that says, "I place before you life and death. Choose life so that you and your seed may live." So not only are the choices placed before you, the answer is given to you so on which choice to choose to have a better life, right? To experience that light. But at the end of the day, that choice is still yours. Yeah. The encouragement to take even one thought into light is always available. Eventually, they always do. I believe that happens when enough becomes enough. When you get tired of your own stuff, that's when it that's when it'll happen. I really do see it, and you see that. And oftentimes, it's when a person hits rock bottom. That's when they decide to maybe do something different because the way it's been working before, it ain't been working. The choices that's been made before haven't quite worked. Okay. Understanding that evil is the absence of light does not mean that it is inappropriate to respond to evil. What is the appropriate response to evil? The remedy for an absence is a presence. The remedy for an absence is a presence. Evil is an absence, and therefore it cannot be healed with an absence. By hating evil, come on. By hating evil or one who is engaged in evil, you contribute to the absence of light and not to its presence. That is a freaking bar. It's okay. Whew. Y'all hear this, hear this, hear this with your heart. The remedy for absence is presence. Evil is an absence, and therefore it cannot be healed with another absence. By hating evil or one who is engaged in evil, so by showing hate to a person, you're contributing to the absence of the light and not to its presence. Hatred of evil does not diminish evil, it increases it. Come on, that is ooh, the absence of light. Ooh, another scripture that just came to me. Love covers a multitude of sin. So even if a person is choosing the darkness or choosing the negative or the evil, whatever the case, it should have no bearings on you. You should still be able to choose to extend love, to extend peace. That is the assistance that's present all the time, right there. Oh, wow. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. That is, ooh. The absence of light causes the personality to suffer. There is pain. When you hate, you bring that suffering upon yourself. Hatred of evil affects the one who hates. Right, not the one that's doing the evil. It's the one who hates. It makes him or her a hateful person, a person who also has absented himself or herself from light. Understanding evil as the absence of light does not require you to become passive or to disregard evil actions or evil behaviors. If you see a child being abused or people being oppressed, for example, it is appropriate that you do what you can do to protect the child, to aid the people. But if there is not compassion in your heart also for those who abuse and oppress, for those who have no compassion, you do you not become like them? Ooh, my word. Wow. Ah, that's good. Compassion is being moved to and by acts of the heart, to and by the energy of love. If you strike without compassion against the darkness, you yourself enter the darkness. The image that came to me in this whole scenario was the Diddy Cassie situation. When we saw the videos, okay, it was so many interviews and so many different things who came up. And I remember, for instance, Chris Cuomo, okay, anchor. He had a panel of people. He had Iyanla, he had what's the one, Hollywood Unlocked, Jason Lee, he had other people on there, and he was asking them, each one, what do you think, what are your thoughts on the Diddy situation, what are your thoughts, what are your thoughts? And he got to Iyanla and he asked her, what are your thoughts about this? And she says, I have none. I promise you, so many people. I remember seeing the comments, and they just like berated her. They went in, oh, really, Iyanla? Really? How did you have nothing to say? And da, 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 da. She said, I have no thoughts. She says, my heart goes out to her, and my heart goes out to him, because it takes someone broken. It takes pain to inflict pain. It takes brokenness to break, takes hurt to hurt. So, yes, we see the physical pain and the mental and emotional pain that she's going through. We see it visibly there. But and yes, don't get me wrong, he has to, he has to do what he needs to do in terms of righting his wrong. But my heart also goes out to him because there inside of that man is a lot of hurt and there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of brokenness, because it takes someone in so much pain and hurt and brokenness to inflict this on another person and actually be okay with it and see no wrong in doing and see no type of point of stop in themselves. That means that that person has been broken deeply. And so, no, I have no opinion. I have compassion. Oh, and I remember that like it happened this morning. And I remember I was so connected deeply to that right there. And I said, wow, that's another understanding. That's another understanding. And I love that. I love that. That's what being a multi-sensory human looks like right there. Okay. Compassion is being moved to and by acts of the heart, to and by the energy of love. If you strike without compassion against darkness, you yourself enter the darkness. So anybody who had a lot of ugly things to say about him and didn't see through the lens of compassion became just like him. Mm, 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 mm. My word, that's big. That's big. Understanding that evil is the absence of light challenges the perception of power as external. It's true. Can an absence be defeated? An evil person can be arrested, but can evil be arrested? An evil group can be in prison, but can evil be imprisoned? A compassionate heart is more effective against evil than an army. Yes. An army can engage another army, but it cannot engage evil. A compassionate heart can engage evil directly. It can bring light where there was no light. Understanding evil as the presence of light requires you to examine the choices that you make each moment in terms of whether they move you toward light or away from it. It allows you to look with compassion upon those who engage in evil activities, even as you challenge with their activities, and thus protects you from the creation of negative karma. It permits you to see that the place to begin the task of eliminating evil is within yourself. This is the appropriate response to evil. The higher order of logic and understanding that characterizes the multisensory human permits to learn more quickly than the five sensory human is able to learn from what its senses alone tells it and what its intellect makes of that. We have evolved as far as the intellect will take us. Ooh, we have evolved as far as the intellect will take us. We have explored the scope and depth of five sensory reality, and we have discovered the limitations of external power. The next phase of our evolution will take us into the experiences of the multisensory human and the nature of authentic power. This requires the heart. Ah, so what he's saying is the next chapters will require our heart, not our senses, not the five sensory logic and understanding. It will require us plugging in to our heart, transcending the five senses, going into the becoming multi-sensory, activating the multi-sensory human, the multi-senses of our human existence, stepping into the Christ consciousness in order to really perceive from our heart, through our heart, what else is being shared in this book. Chapter 5 is entitled Intuition. Intuition. I love this. I love this. I do. Okay, you all, I told you I was going to tell you how to receive your copy of this book, and there it is on the screen. For those who are on Clubhouse, you can receive your copy of this book simply by inboxing me or emailing me. Where do you email me? Right here. Info@biancamissblee.com. Info@biancamissblee.com. Send me your name, the email address that you want me to send the book to, and I personally will send it over to you. It is no cost to you, as I stated before. Yes, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Yes, we do accept donations. Yes, you can use them as write offs at the end of the year on your taxes. But these books that we read together, they are free of charge to you. Are donations welcome? Absolutely. Are they required for your book? Absolutely not. Get your copy, okay? Visit the website, you all. It is www.biancamissblee.com. On Clubhouse, it's right above my head. You can tap the link and you're right there, okay? Those who are watching via video, it is right on your screen. Visit the website. You can see all of the astrological transits. You can see our shadow work. We've been on the shadow work series. I believe we are on week 6. It's been amazing. Okay. And I do welcome you to go in and do the work as well. Join us on this journey. It's been beautiful and freeing, liberating, and whatnot. Follow me also too on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, all Dr. Bianca Miss B. Lee. Okay. You all, again, we will be back here on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be reading the next chapter, chapter 5, Intuition, of this amazing book, The Seat of the Soul. Okay, you don't want to miss it. I promise you, you don't. And you need to catch up. These chapters are not long at all, y'all. They are not long at all. So you can catch up without a problem and be with us, join us, read with us, or read on your own. It's up to you. I would love to have you here, though. Okay, so next time we come together on Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be going forward in this book reading, and I'm excited to join you in this journey, okay? Until next time, I love you. I mean it. There is absolutely positively nothing you can do about it. Don't you even try it. It won't work even if you did, okay? I'll see you on Sunday right here on Voices of Empowerment with Dr. B. Peace.